We are live. Welcome to Pros Only TV. You're here with myself, Roland. It's a new show on Pros Only TV, the UCL show, rounding up all the Champions League fixtures from the game week. There's a lot to talk about tonight. So much happened yesterday as well. We're about to get into everything. But before I do anything, I need everybody to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit that notification bell. We're going live so many times throughout this season. And yeah, man, let's begin. Let's go.
Drop a can.
Yes, people, the UCL show. I'm back in the building, talking some Champions League football, man. This is a new show on the channel. It's going to be coming every game week in the Champions League on a Wednesday around 10 p.m. after all the fixtures are done. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. Obviously, there's only one place to start. Manchester United losing 2-1 to Young Boys yesterday. Boy, where can I begin? Team selection. I said it already. You, man, I said it already. You don't rotate the team. Like, put the full strength team out. Ollie made 3 changes. And then after that, boom. What happened? Come on, man. That team selection wasn't it, man. You got a chance to rotate against West Ham in the Carabao Cup next week, Wednesday. You could have played your full strength team. Maybe make one change if you wanted to. See the game out after 65 minutes. You got 5 subs in the Champs League this season. You take man off, wrap them up in cotton wool. You got a fixture on a Sunday. You'd be good. But I mean, first 20 minutes, there was a bit of back and forth between the two teams. You know, we were trying to probe and see what we could do. We get the goal through Ronaldo again, inevitable Ronaldo. I mean, it's getting a bit peaked that now we're having to rely on Ronaldo to score goals for us now to try and win us games. That's not what we brought him in for. I mean, I thought we were just adding him as another piece to the side to see what we can do. But like, he scores anyway. And then after that, you get the red card from Wan-Bissaka. Poor touch. You can't blame the guy, man. Like, I saw a lot of stuff, where like we're talking about his future in the team. It's not off of that one moment, and that's a separate issue for the time being. Right now, if you look at that moment, there's a poor touch. He follows through on his poor touch, and then obviously studs are up. He's out of control in terms of the tackle, gets the man down, and it's a red card. I mean, some people were debating whether it was a red card or not. I think it's a red card in the Champions League, European football like that. It's a red card when you're showing studs like that. So, you know, red card. But then you go down to 10 men, and then this is where the contentious bit starts because, you know, I've seen United sides and other sides go 10 men down and still beat teams, right? But what Ollie did was he reverted to type. As soon as he knew that there was a problem in the game, he decided not to risk it. So takes off Sancho, takes off Donny as well. Brings on, who does he bring on? He brings on Fred, and he brings on Dallo and then he also brings on Varane too, to kind of make it 3 at the back, and then the 2 wing backs in Shaw and Dallo. And so you're going 5 at the back, or if you're doing 3 centre halves, and you're going 4-3-1-2, I think it would have been, or 3-4-2. No, was it 3-4-1-1? Yeah, 3-4-1-1. And like for me, it just looked like he surrendered the point. Like he wanted a point, and that's the way it was playing out. To be honest, like you saw parts in the game where Ronaldo was isolated in the game, and you could see him like gesturing to his people, saying like to the rest of the team and saying like push up 10 yards because I'm isolated. And like it really showed a deficiency. And like when I'm looking at that, I'm just saying to myself, this is Istanbul all over again. Like that mistake from Jesse Lingard at the end, you can't look at that and say, you know, that like that's the reason why we lost the game. I mean, it's a contributing factor to the reason why we lost the game. But we're Manchester United. We're supposed to be, you know, kind of. That's a game you have to win. I mean, if it's a Champions League night, like that's a competition we're targeting this season. Why are we rotating players when you've got opportunities to do that across the season? It's not just the first game of the Champions League. You're bringing in Champions League Varane. We're talking about this guy being that competition is made for him, and he doesn't even start the first game. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I've not seen over the years Barcelona, Real Madrid, take Champions League games lightly. They will go in full strength team regardless of who they're playing. Like, when you get to the final stages of the group stage and you're already qualified, that's when you start to rotate players. And if you can win your first 4 games in the group, more than likely you've qualified, and you've qualified top. And so that means you've got 2 games in December to be able to rotate players. And for United and their fixture schedule, you having a lot of games in December every 2 to 3 days, and a well-earned rest for some of the major squad members in your team would be in that moment. Now you've put yourself under pressure to now win the remaining 5 games, and you have to probably win 4 to make sure you're through. And like the next game, I think we play Villarreal at home next. We don't have a great record against Villarreal in European competition. So I'm wondering to myself, what's going to happen? Like, I feel like United have enough to go through to the next round and avoid the Europa League or avoid going out completely of the competition. But just looking at that performance, the tactical switch from Oli, the lack of reaction from Oli, and like how to just kind of like, to manage this game, because that was the main thing that came out of this, is the game management. Like, there was some baffling substitutions, like, why do you take off Bruno and Ronaldo when you're chasing a goal to try and win a game? You make some real like strange decision making. And like, for me, I don't know, like, I'm just looking at that and I'm saying, well, what it does beg questions about the manager, like, but I think it's too early to start talking about getting him out, because I don't think he's going to go anywhere. The only reason why he would leave the club is if he decided he wanted to leave, or there was a bad run of games, or the team decided they're not going to play for the manager anymore. And I just can't see that happening. I think this team is too good to go on a long stretch of games without a win, for example, or bad performances. And the squad likes the manager, so I don't see them like throwing the manager under the bus like they've done to the other 2 previous managers that were here before him. So United have enough to go through. But when I look at that, I'm saying to myself, boy, it's a bit mad, like, why are we struggling against a side that's like so. The thing about it, we even underestimated them, and that's the thing that annoys me the most. It's like, you can't underestimate any opponent in the Champions League. Young boys played 6 games to get to the group stage. So if they played 6 games to get there, you think they're gonna just come and lie down just because you're Manchester United? It's not gonna happen. So you got to be prepared, because the thing about it is they outworked us, they outfought us. Every second ball they won it. Like, they really tried to make sure they was gonna beat us. Like, they really, like, as soon as the red card went in, David Wagner said go for it, and they went for it, and they won the game. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let me get into some comments before we move on. Large up Brush in the building. The popcorn every time. Big up Eagle Eye Football Rich. Says big up Roland. Brush again. He says large up Roland. New contract as well. He ain't going anywhere. That's true. He ain't going anywhere. He just signed his new deal. They're backing him with this process thing. But with the players you've brought in right now this summer, it's not a progress thing anymore. It's win something or you're out of the door. Like, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. And then, but some of the defense is clear to see and repetitive, needs to be addressed. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, for United, it's going to be a pretty difficult. I look at it as very difficult, because with the Villarreal games, and then you've got Atalanta. Atalanta are a good side. Then they play some good football, and it's gonna be a bit of a tough one. And I'm not too sure about what's gonna happen. I'm not too sure what's gonna happen. It says deficiency, yeah. But yeah, like, yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, that performance yesterday wasn't good enough. I mean, there was a lot of clamor for Donny to start, but starting him in that midfield with Fred, they don't complement each other as a midfield pairing, and so that was a very strange decision. Throwing Pogba back out on the left and Sancho on the right, and it's kind of like throwing people out there just so that they can just be lambs to slaughter. Like, you look at Sancho. Sancho's had a very difficult start to his life in England, which I expected to happen, because he wasn't going to just go from the Bundesliga, being one of the top assisters and all of those things, to come into this Manchester United side where he has to adapt to the way that we play football, has to adapt to the league that he's playing in and the speed that it is at, a lack of a preseason after coming back from the Euros and holiday and all of that. Like, what are we expecting here? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not expecting anything much of him, and I'm glad that Ronaldo's in, because it now takes the eyes off of him. he can just get his head down and work and see if he can try and get to the level he needs to get to. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, on that, it's like, boy, we just leave that to the side. You know, you got to kind of chalk it up as a loss and just say, you know what, mistakes were made. Don't overreact, which a lot of fans have been doing. Like I was in a space yesterday and man was screaming at each other over this result. Like, Ollie in, Ollie out, and I'm just like, right now, that's not even the time for it. We only just started the season, innit? So we gotta wait and see where we are in around December and January to see what is actually happening. Because by December, January time, you will know if you're out of the Champions League or if you've qualified for the next round. You know where the league is beginning to take shape at that point. So you have to wait and see what happens. I mean, whether or not the manager is good enough to take this team to the next level, besides me. I'm not too sure he is, but you know, it is what it is. He's at the club and there's nothing else we can do. Big up Santiago in the chat. He says, big up, man. Thank you, my guy. But yeah, let's move on. Chelsea versus Zenit. So Chelsea beat Zenit St. Petersburg 1-0. Goal from Lukaku. He's on fire right now, man. I think it's in his first 4 starts, he scored 4 goals for Chelsea. I believe so. So it's like, yes, he's on fire right now. I mean, he's proven everybody wrong. Everybody that said he had Timberland boots on when he was playing for United, which we all know is because he was a bit slower because Mourinho was trying to turn him into a target man. So he was actually putting on weight, like putting on a bit of muscle, slowed him down a little bit. And so it just really messed up his game, to be honest. And that's not his game. You know, he's a bit of a link man. He likes to spin in behind the defense, and you know, he's kind of like one of them kind of counter attack. He's very counter attack heavy. He would have worked in this current United side, in my opinion, but is what it is. I mean, yeah, like for me, Chelsea look like favourites in both competitions. You know, in the Prem and in the Champions League, because in a cup competition, if you're hard to beat, which Chelsea are, they don't concede many goals. You got Mendy, who's an unreal keeper. Right, they got him for a steal as well last summer. You know, they've kept a lot of clean sheets under Tuchel. That team is very settled, even though they rotated yesterday. They rotated like 6 players yesterday. So you see that and you're saying to yourself, with the depth that they've got, like being able to just switch 6 players out of their side and come back and then right into the side, it just shows you how good that system from Tuchel is, that people can come out of the side and more people can come in, and then it's like nothing's happened, nothing has changed. It's serious squad depth, and like for me, it's just making me feel like they can actually defend the competition. I mean, you look at some of the players that they've got. You brought in some more European experience with Saul. He's played a number of different games for Atletico Madrid. You know, he's won the Europa League, I'm sure, a couple of times, I believe. Has he won the Champions League before? No, I don't think he's won the Champions League, but he's got that European experience and it's good. I mean, it's looking scary for some teams out there, man. Like, because Chelsea are difficult to beat and like hard to break down. They're so solid defensively, and then you've got the attack that they've got, Kai Havertz and all of that stuff, man. It's a bit mad, man. Like, I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm about to bring in my guy Rich. What are you saying, my bro? What are you saying?
Sorry, I'm late, my brother. Little one just went sleeping to that still.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm good though. I'm good.
I'm just turning down the echo in it because I can hear myself in it.
No, sorry, I was listening to you on my phone beforehand. My bad.
Yeah, that's so good. It's so good. But what are you saying? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Interesting round of results, man.
Hey, it's a bit mad. Like some of the later ones we're going to discuss are a bit crazy. Let me get into a couple more comments before we move on. Big up Ferbs in the chat. It says, big up my G Roland. What are you saying, my guy? You good? Brush says Chelsea have great squad depth too. Yeah, it's true. But yeah, man, obviously Chelsea getting that win against Zenit to open up their campaign. The goal from Lukaku, as I said, he's on fire. Like it's crazy how everything is clicking for them right now. It's so early on in the season. They're joint top of the league and they've got this win in the Champions League. Yeah. And I'm thinking they can defend this competition, man. They've got it in their locker and they don't concede a lot of goals. So having that there, yeah, is perfect for competition football. So, but what do you think?
You know what is with Tuchel, what he's done with Chelsea is that he's been able to allow them to win in different ways. They can play. They can win ugly. They can win through beautiful football. But either way, they're winning.
Mm.
That's the most important thing, and especially with tournament football, you may, what do you call it? You may not always get the prettiest of football. Tournament football is results based, predominantly. You know what I mean? In the league, cool, you might want to critique the performance a bit more, but when it's tournament football, you just got to pick up 3 points, regardless of how you do it. You know what I mean? And that's a great. I think Chelsea is a great example of that last season, where no one expected them to do it, and they just kept winning and kept winning and kept winning.
It's those games against Real Madrid in the semi-final, right? The way they ground out that result, it was like, yeah, like, and it was a tough team to beat at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for them to do that, like, shows that the level that team is at, the way how, like, they're really well coached as well.
Yeah.
And Tuchel's got to give a lot of credit to him, because, to be honest with you, he was doubted. Like, so obviously he didn't do well at Dortmund. Like, he got sacked, right? And, you know, at that point they were like, where is he going to go? He takes a left turn and goes to PSG. He wins himself a few leagues, you know, takes them to a Champions League final, the closest that they've been in the history of the club, you know, and then it doesn't work out for him as well. And then he comes to Chelsea, and, you know, the expectation level from people were like, well, they should have went to somebody else. Like, they should have got somebody else at Chelsea. Come in, and he's completely just eradicated any criticism that may go, any scrutiny towards him, because he's come in and said, look, I'm a very efficient manager. I know exactly what I want to do, and I'm going to put the players in place, and they're going to play my system, and it's going to work. And it has. So it's just interesting to see, man, from Chelsea. And I don't want them to win it again, but, like, to be honest, as a club, the way they've just come in and blitzed, like, they've gone past Arsenal and won 2 Champions Leagues. Arsenal haven't won one. Like, it's crazy to think. But yeah, man, I mean, it's a bit mad. I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
It is, but like you said, it's all down to the manager. He's come in, he's implemented his way, he's stuck by it. He's ruffled a few feathers, but he's got the results at the end of the day. He's a Champions League holder. He's a Champions League winner. No one's going to doubt him. You know what I mean? He was not able to do it at PSG. Unfortunate to lose in the final. It was a very strong Bayern side, to be fair.
Right.
You know,
they were unlucky though, because, like, to be honest with you, they had chances. They had chances. Di Maria had a few chances himself. Like, yeah, I mean, Neymar was a bit off that day when they played, but they still had enough to win that game. But it is what it is. I mean, yeah, moving on to Bayern though, getting that 3-0 win at the Camp Nou. Oh, I mean, just putting Bayern aside for a minute, because we know what they can do, right? Barcelona right now, they're going through this rebuild, right? They're saying rebuild, but is it really turmoil? Because you see Messi leaving, and then the fallout from that, and the financial situation where they were under pressure to get rid of players. You see Emerson Royal, who's gone to Spurs. They bought him in the summer to just sell him on for 25 mil. You know, they were trying to get rid of him. Titi, who said he didn't want to go, and then Koeman brought him on. He made him warm up in front of the fans to get the fans to boo him, so that he could, like, convince him to try and leave. Griezmann left late in the window as well, back to Atletico, and I believe it's a loan with an obligation to buy. So there was no. So there was no, like, fee to come in straight away. Like, what do you think about the situation going on over there? Because I don't know how to call it. I don't know if it's a rebuild or if it's turmoil.
First things first, it's definitely not a rebuild. What they're doing is actually, like, they're chipping away at their mansion, bit by bit. They're not building, they're destroying. It is mad. And you know what? You could kind of see it going that way. I didn't think it would happen so rapidly. I thought it might have been a steady decline. But how it looks to me is, like, from the moment they started spending, I mean, Ousmane Dembele, I could see at the time why spending. It was a lot of money, but at the time, he was moving mad at Dortmund. Like, he was fit. He was fit. He was playing every game, left foot, right foot, didn't care. You know what I mean? So I could see, like, he was 18 at the time, 18, 19. That's a good 10 to 12 year investment. So I could see it. But then all of a sudden, Coutinho started to cost that much. And then After that, when you think about it, minus Griezmann, Braithwaite. I mean, Arthur was decent, to be fair. Like, something obviously went wrong somewhere along the line, but he was a decent player. Pjanic,
yeah, that was a bit of a mad one as well. I didn't understand that.
Like
One.
the signings just started to become left field, and then I know Koeman's coming and he wants to obviously try and make the squad younger and stuff, but he's then gone about things the wrong way. He has alienated Suarez. You know, it's just a total car crash. And no wonder the likes of Messi wanted to leave, thinking, "Why am I here?" Sort of thing, you know. But then just looking on the basis of their playing style, what we oh my gosh,
Luke de Jong.
It's mad. But just looking at their playing style, like when you grow up, you kind of think, you look at Barcelona and you say to yourself, these lot will just keep the ball, like, and you can't get it. Watching them yesterday, they might as well just put the ball in the back of the net for buying themselves.
I mean, I saw a stat yesterday. Eric Garcia, he won 25% of his ground duels and 25% of his aerial duels. This is a centre half, like, and I mean, when you look at the history of their centre halves that they've had Marquez, they've had Puyol, they've had Mascherano, who was a midfielder, but he played there so comfortably.
Same with Yaya Toure.
Same with Yaya Toure, comfortably, right? And they've declined so much as a club, and it's just like, I remember in 2005, like when you had Ronaldinho it's even hard to say. I can't say prime because he was young then, but like he was at that peak level, right? And they had Etu, and they had who else did they have before? Obviously they had Xavi, they had Iniesta there, but like the side was just perfect. And then obviously you have La Masia, who like they just generate talent. They just keep generating talent. Obviously the biggest one that they had to focus on was Messi, but they kept generating talent. And that kind of production line is slowed down for them. I've not, apart from Pedri, you see Pedri's coming. You know, they've had to sell Moriba to Leipzig. He's gone there in the summer. Fatty's also had a major injury, so he's going to take
massive injury,
to come back. But I don't know what to pinpoint it. Like what the problem is. If it's money that they spent, obviously like waywardly and all of that. But man.
Money's definitely played a factor. But then also you go look at the manager. He's come in. He's tried to obviously implement a style it's just not worked. And I think he's lost the dressing room mad early. But I think if the only way that Barcelona are going to get back to anywhere near, I don't think they'll get to how they were like in, say, like the 2009 era, because that was mad. But if they want to get to anywhere near what they could be, they need to figure out that La Masia production line, get the motor in that working again. Because that formed literally the basis of Barcelona. The amount of young players they were just churning in. You know, Busquets came in at like 18? 18, 19. Played a couple games and they said, yeah, this position is mine. You know what I mean? You know,
it's crazy.
And
Koeman,
that's what they need to go back to.
Sorry to cut you off there, but Koeman had a quote yesterday. He said, "This club has a future thanks to me."
Yeah, this guy's delusional.
Him saying that, like, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, they brought in Memphis and Aguero. Aguero can finally play. He's getting himself back up to match fitness, and we'll see what happens. But let me get some more comments before I move on to Bayern, their performance yesterday. So big up Santiago, says Dembele, his shins have made a weird picks. I mean, he was a beast, for Dortmund. Like I was watching some highlights in the compilation yesterday. He was mad, just techie, but he was quick, bro. And he's lost that. Big up Ferbs in the chat. He said Barca should sign Fred. Hey, if he goes there, he might ball out, you know.
That's a good point, yeah.
If he goes there, he might ball out because it's a bit different there. Like United, he's being stifled, trying to turn him into a DM. Big up Realist TV, says big up, bro. What you saying, my guy? You good? Big up Lewis in the chat from My Football Heroes, the absolute boys. What you saying, my guy? Big up Paul as well from My Football Heroes. But also got another La Masia crop though. best one in a long while. I think they'll do some damage eventually. Yeah, I need to go and research actually, to be honest, to see who's coming up from them, because yeah, that's the thing. You just said it. Like they need to get that back up running and just start doing that again, because these £100 million signings, €100 million signings, they're spending money stupidly and doesn't even make sense. The only one that kind of made sense was Frankie de Jong, who's going to be a top player when he gets to that level. It's just they're probably going to have to build a team around him to really do something.
Yeah, but if they're not careful, they'll lose him too.
Well, I mean, it's mad. I don't know, like, because I feel like he's gonna have to stay there. They're gonna have to do everything to keep him. I mean, they're already paying him a stupid amount of money anyway. When he came there, I think being paid about 200,000 euros a week or something like that.
Oh yeah, their salary is a problem as well. Actually, I didn't think of that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, obviously Griezmann's off the books. Obviously Messi's off the books, and so they're just trying to rejig things. But you got people like Ntiti who's on close to at least 100,000 euros a week and all of that. So, and then on the Ntiti, Brush said that they ruined him. I think so, like to a certain degree in it, because I feel like when he came there, he was highly rated. Yeah. And then, like, I think at a certain point he got an injury, and it's just been downhill.
It's injuries.
It's been downhill from there. But and then Brush again saying gross mismanagement of funds on both transfers and wages. They also did a lot to accommodate Messi, which hurt them long term, which is true. And obviously with him going now, it kind of takes a bit of pressure off some of the younger players, I think, who would normally be, if he was in the side, be playing to him, playing through him to try and do something. And now they can actually express themselves as younger players and see what they can do. But we're moving on to Bayern. I've got a question for you. Was Lewandowski robbed of the Ballon d'Or last season? Because you know the Ballon d'Or was cancelled. Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. If it was Messi or Ronaldo in the running, they would have kept it going.
Because
he got absolutely robbed, and he probably won't win it this year either.
Yeah, like, because the thing about it is, like, this guy has been scoring goals consistently for Bayern over the last. He's just been moving mad, and it's like the thing about him is that he's for some reason, like he's not like. People don't put him in that bracket of the top level elite players. Like, so you've got Messi and Ronaldo, then you've got that second tier, right? And there's the number of players you can name in there. But like, surely, at this point in his career, you're talking about somebody who he was in Poland, and was potentially on his way to Blackburn, right? And you remember, and under Sam Allardyce, and then there was that ash cloud situation. Remember in Europe where
he couldn't fly out.
He couldn't fly out to come to England, right? So then he eventually goes to Dortmund, and then he just shoots off from there. In the Champions League, you saw him banging goals against everybody, right?
Yeah.
And then he moves over to Bayern and just continues and goes up another level. And we need to start putting him in this conversation as probably one of the greatest goal scorers in a generation, because he's doing it consistently, and he scored another 2 again yesterday.
You know what I think? I think he doesn't get put in that category, and not by me, because I rate him I rate him highly. But you know how, for example, like if you don't play in the Premier League sort of thing, you know, because I'm hearing, and no disrespect to Harry Kane, because I think Harry Kane's a brilliant goal scorer. All right, but Lewandowski's better than him, in my opinion, but he won't get that same sort of
100%
discussion, because obviously Kane's doing it in the Prem. And like, once again, no disrespect to Kane, because he's a very, very, very good striker, very good, you know. So to be banging in like 30, 40 goals back-to-back seasons, you got to respect.
He's banging 5 in a game back-to-back. Like I swear this happened maybe a couple of seasons ago, where he in 2 games in a row he scored 5 each. Like,
I think there was one time he came off the bench to do that.
Yeah, like it's mad, like the rate he's going at. Like I don't understand like how he's not in that conversation. And obviously Bayern with the new manager Nagelsmann, is he under pressure to win the Champions League? Because you know, like the German league is different. Like he can probably win that without him anyway. But the Champions League is what they really want again. And you think he's under pressure to win that?
I think they'll give him this season as like the first season to kind of embed, but from next season, like kind of similar to like Poch's situation, how Poch is going to be. I think Poch is going to be under the most pressure this year.
Yeah.
And I think more so Nagelsmann next season, they'll be like, listen, you need to bag the Champions League.
Yeah. All right. Well, I agree with that. Like, I feel like, and a season to kind of acclimatize yourself to this level now, because obviously under Leipzig, he kind of maybe overperformed, especially the season before when they got to the semi-final.
Yeah.
And they weren't expected to get there, so he overperformed. And then obviously last season, I think they went out last 16 stage, I believe. Obviously coming out of the group from United, which is mad. And then so moving on. So yeah, man, like Bayern getting that win, it was kind of a routine win in front of the fans at the Camp Nou, and it's just like I looked at that game. I was checking out the highlights yesterday, and I was just like, how far have Barcelona dropped, man? It's crazy.
It was so easy for them.
So easy, and they got those young boys on the wings, Sane and Gnabry. They're gonna do some damage in the Champions League this season for sure. I know that for a fact. But yeah, man, let's move on. Yesterday, Malmo versus Juve. Juve got the routine 3-0 win. Obviously, life without Ronaldo. Now, I think Morata scored.
Not going very well in the league.
Not in the league. I mean, not in the league. They're struggling in Serie A, but they've got they got that win. And I mean, it's a routine win against Malmo. I don't think Malmo expected to do anything, to be honest. Is Allegri out for glory this time round? Because you've got to a Champions League final. When was it? 2012? No, not 2014, 15 maybe, against
14,
Barcelona. Yeah, and against Barcelona they lost.
Barcelona was 2013.
Was it 13?
Sure.
But potentially, but I mean, Allegri back, and there's an opportunity to try and win a Champions League. I think this is probably one of the most open ones in a while, because there's no real like strong teams apart from maybe Chelsea, City. Like, I think apart from that, it's fairly open. So there's an opportunity for Juve there. But yeah, man, what do you think? And do you think they can do something in this Champions League, or is it? Nah, is it?
Nah.
It's not. It's not happening.
It's happening.
Hey, okay, all right. Moving on. Big up Lewis for this. We're about to talk about Milan right now. Thoughts on AC Milan making the Champions League return?
I am so happy to see them in the Champions League.
Hey, you know what? I was watching the first half of the Inter Real game, and I was like, Champions League nights at the San Siro just takes you back. It takes you right back to like when we were younger and we were seeing AC Milan and Inter Milan both competing in the Champions League. Liverpool beat Milan 3-2.
3-2,
at Anfield. Boy, it was a bit of a crazy game. Liverpool taking the lead through Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then 2 quick-fire goals from Milan. And then basically Liverpool took the game to them from there. Also, Salah missed a penalty as well. There was a lot of question marks on that first Milan goal for the equaliser, and it begs a question, is Trent because Trent made a mistake on the goal. Is he overrated by English fans, Premier League fans, Liverpool fans? Like, because we look at him and we say he could be. People put him in world class bracket when it comes to right backs.
No. He's not. It's not world class yet. The thing that annoys me, and this is no disrespect to Trent or to even Robbo, is all of a sudden Trent's not a right back no more. He's an attacking right back. Since when did we start creating positions?
Boy.
And it's only, in my personal opinion, it's literally just to mask the fact that he can't defend. But he's brilliant going forward.
Yeah,
cannot knock him one bit going forward. Superb assists, goals. Yeah, it's techie on the ball as well. But once again, and I think those mistakes last season against Real Madrid, defensively, he's a liability.
But see, look, this is the thing that made me laugh. So you already know, that game, especially the game against Real Madrid away. For a fact on the touchline they were screaming, "Isolate Trent!" Like ISO 166. Like just do that, because like they knew that he was going to be a liability defensively. And like me, the first time I knew that it was a problem was when Rashford pammed him. It was bad. Like that was the first time I knew he was going to be a defensive liability. And I think yeah, people kind of pick and choose their favorites, in it. Like, and so if you like Trent, you'd be like, you know, they kind of lean towards like, yeah, he's an attacking fullback. We're gonna forget about the defensive responsibilities. But for me, when you're judging a fullback, they have to be good going both ways, because you operate in within the width of the two boxes, and it's what you do in on either side is how we kind of look at you. So when I'm looking at that, I'm saying to myself, Trent, he is overrated by I think Liverpool fans, especially because it's their player, so they have the bias there. But then English fans too, maybe because they haven't seen anybody on that level attacking wise from fullback in a very long time. You could say Walker, but Walker's a defensive liability too. But I don't think he's on the level of Trent from an attacking perspective. And obviously, and then Walker's getting a bit older too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for me, just looking at this whole Trent thing, like, I think if you take him out of Klopp's system, how well does he actually do?
We see it for England though. Like, so you put him in that England side, he's not the same player as he is for Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then just on the whole right back aspect, and this is why I brought up, like, I was on KG show last week, and I was saying it's so crazy how Trent gets praised for being a right back, and they don't ever highlight his defensive flaws. Whereas Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets praised for his defensive flaws, but gets cast out for his attacking. You know, and it's just like they both have a flaw, right? And like I said, I just personally think that Trent's flaws are just masked because Klopp can coach, and your gaffer can't. Basically.
I mean, but look, see with the Wan-Bissaka thing, just to go back to that, yeah, like with me, yeah, I think he's overrated in regards to people overrate his defensive capabilities because I feel like the reason why he slides a lot, yeah, is because he's generally out of position and he has to recover the ball. And so the thing about it is when you're going to ground as a defender, like, because I played center back as well, yeah, and I would generally stay on my feet, like, because once you go to ground, a mistake can happen. So positioning is very important as a defender, and I've seen him like on occasions, yeah, be very poor defensively, and his side is always left open. And of course, with United, there's a lot of scrutiny, especially you see it on social media. People get onto him for not being an attacking threat, which is in the modern game, fullbacks are an attacking outlet because usually the wide men, we don't have traditional wide men like that anymore who go on the outside. They come inside, they're inverted players. So they expect the width from the fullbacks. And if you're not doing that, then there's going to be scrutiny on you. So, I mean, I get it on both sides, but for me, Trent's a bit, I'm cool on him, man. Like, he does good work for Liverpool for sure. He has improved as a player for sure, but it is what it is. And just to echo what Rush said here, take him out of the system and out of his system and the equation, and a lot of flaws will come to light.
Yeah, I think he'll have better days playing in midfield.
And this is what he said here. He said, and how they gassed him as a good footballer, what he can do in midfield. He was dead in the England game. I think he's a midfielder. I thought he started off as a midfielder. That's what I thought he was anyway. Like, he seems better suited to be in a midfielder, potentially a right winger. Like that's what I would play him as, because you can just utilize all of that attacking threat that he has, and then he just has to position himself and help out his fullback if needs be. But I mean, I don't think they have wingers in Klopp system, so he's just gonna have to play as the wing back. Let me go back to Paul's comment up here. He said, Roland, whatever you do, don't mention Boban or George Weah. Who put them as a villain?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, he put George Weah as a villain. He's one of my heroes.
Big up Paul again. He said Wan-Bissaka as a right side centre back, and a three would be the one in my opinion. Potentially, yeah.
But then once again, like, why a change of system to accommodate that? You know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah. It's strange, like, yeah, because like I wouldn't do that for United. Like, I just keep it as a flat back four. Like, if that's what the manager wants to play, because you have to take him out of the team if if you're gonna play 5 at the back or the wing backs, because he's not gonna be effective in that role. So it is what it is. Liverpool hanging on for that win. They get their first win in the Champions League, and I mean, it was great to see Milan back. They actually played very well after several years out. What's that? 8 years out of the Champions League. And when I look at that, I'm like, Milan could do something. They did something in the Europa League before getting knocked out by United, and they made another step up. And Zlatan to come back. I did say that Zlatan they need to drug test him, man, because this guy, 40 years old, still banging goals. Like, he even went to MLS and came back. It's a bit mad, that how he's still going. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at them closely in the next few fixtures for the Champions League, because I want to see if they can try and get through that group. I think they may have a chance. I mean, that group is a little bit wide open after Liverpool, really, for that second spot. So we'll see what happens. Hey, let's move on. Man City, Leipzig, 6-3 on the night. Grealish with a goal and assist on his Champions League debut. What can we say, man? This is Pep. This is his stage. This is City's opportunity to try and win this Champions League. Let's see what happens there. But what do you think about Grealish? Do you think the Champions League is his level now? Do you think he's ready for this?
Yeah. He's been ready. He's been ready. And I mean, like, obviously during the Euros, everyone's kind of screaming out for him to get more game time, but which didn't happen. And I think the pace of the Champions League will suit him as well, because he's technically gifted as well. So he can, and in the Pep system, to just bounce it and move. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, I mean, Leipzig were doing a bit of a madness, like defensively, from some of the goals I saw, and there was an own goal as well, But when I'm seeing that, I'm like, this is Leipzig, man. They can be on their day. They can be a very difficult side to beat. They can play very good football, but then defensively, they're very, very wide open, and they can concede a lot of goals.
To be fair to Leipzig, obviously they've got a kind of mini rebuild themselves, because they lost both their centre backs. And Sabitzer as well, who's key for them.
Yeah, he played well yesterday for Bayern as well.
Yeah, he's a baller.
He's a proper baller. But and they lost their manager too. Let's not forget.
And that too. This is it.
The stability at that club is gone. But it's to be expected, because they're a club that is kind of like, there's a very high turnover of everybody at that club. To be honest, you've seen their director leave, Ralph Rangnick. He left. You've seen managers leave. You've seen a lot of players come in and out. So it's to be expected, and I think for them, they can aim for the Europa League in this group. But we'll see what happens there. I mean, City without a striker, can they go again? Can they get to another Champions League final and try and win it this time? Because this is the project for Sheikh Mansour and all of and their board. They want that Champions League. They brought Pep in to try and deliver that. Do you think they can do it this season?
See, they can do it every season as long as Pep doesn't overthink things. And it's odd because he overthinks things at the wrong moment, like just last minute changing the formations or just tinkering with the squad. It's like, wait, why are you doing that? So
when they was in what do you call it, in the final, and then he did Pep did the interview with Rio, and he started moving his hands like this in the interview. I said, you've already lost the game, because from time you're doing this, you've confused yourself, man. I'm seeing the hand moves. I was like, nah, you've lost the game, because there was no way that you need to do all of that to beat Chelsea. So, I mean, I'm looking at them pretty closely, to be honest. And Pep himself in that Champions League final 9 times out of 10 they win. It's true, like the fact that they didn't play Rodri like as the stability in there. They played Gundogan as the holding midfield, and I was just like, see, this is the person who was your top scorer last season. You should have let him free, and played Rodri there to try and win that game, which you would have done it if you did it.
He just overthought it so much, and I think that it's not normally like Pep, but he was thinking more so about Chelsea than himself, than his team. In that final, so
it's a bit mad because obviously there's a lot of pressure as well. That's the first Champions League in the history that kind of like crowns the project for Man City, and I think he put pressure on himself and it kind of just messed it up. But man, it's a bit mad. It's a bit mad. People making too much of City not having a striker. Yeah, but like, you know, if you have that finisher now, yeah, like this is because like the amount of chances that team creates, if you had the finisher in there, it's a complete team. So this is the reason why people are talking about it, to be honest. But yeah, I can't wait till Pep episode. Me too. I can't even lie. I mean, I hope what he says is if he's leaving next year, that's what he says. I hope he does, innit? And I hope he does it without a Champions League. To be honest with you, and I said countdown to 2033. Wait, big up Reese in the chat said no Sterling or Foden this year. What this year? Like, as in what? They're done for this year? Nah, I think Foden's injured. I think, but
Yeah.
Sterling's about. It's just I don't think Sterling's going to accept being a rotational player. To be honest with you,
He's not.
I think at a certain point he's going to either have to itch to leave. To be honest, like, and obviously there's a few rebuilds happening, a few projects around Europe, so you never know where he could go.
And it's mad. Sterling's not that old yet. It's like he's still 28.
Is he 20? I thought he's 26.
26 maybe, actually. Sorry.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, look, he's a few goals away from becoming Premier League 100 club, which is mad to think as well.
Yeah, I saw something about his stats. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like he's nowhere near finished. And like if City are going to turn him into a rotational player, he'll say, I can go be a main man somewhere else. He could definitely go. I could definitely see him going to Real Madrid. They need some players, man. Like, and we're going to talk about Real Madrid next. Real Madrid got that late winner against Inter Milan. As I said, Champions League nights at the San Siro. Camavinga with the assist on his Champions League debut for Rodrigo.
Yeah, he's just slotted in like it's nothing.
I mean, he didn't even start the game. He came on in it. So, like, for him
this is why if your club has a system, it doesn't matter who comes on or who comes off. It should just be seamless.
But you know what it is, yeah. Look, it's you know what, but with that Real Madrid side, yeah, you've seen how it's been a little bit like broken up, and I mean, like,
but that's just down to age, though. That midfield three needed changing a couple seasons back. Don't get me wrong, Modric, still baller, Casemiro, and Cruz, but they're all they're aged.
Yeah, they've aged. Mean, what's his name? Cruz wasn't playing tonight. It was Casemiro and Modric together in the midfield. Alaba starting at centre half. All the centre half partnerships are a bit mad. So Nacho was playing out on the right wing, on the left back. Sorry, because Ferland Mendy and Marcelo both injured, so they don't have any left backs. Yeah, so I mean, you know, you got Benzema up front, and you know he's a killer. He scored 3 goals. He scored 3 goals for Real Madrid at the weekend as well. And the fact that he's still doing it at 33 in the Champions League, he was second fiddle. He's now the captain of the club. You know, he's worked his way to that position, and they got that 1-0 win tonight, man. And I was watching that first half. They were under pressure a lot from Inter Milan. You know, they wanted to put a show on for the fans. You know, some of the players were looking a bit different. I'm seeing Matteo Darmian, all of a sudden, right, he sprung into life. Man was running down that right wing, crossing the balls into the box. Lautaro Martinez, you know, there was a bit of speculation of him going to Spurs and all of this during the summer, but he's settled and he's playing well. He had a few chances. Edin Dzeko as well coming in.
I think that's a very good signing for them.
Yeah, he played well in that first half. From what I saw, he was just kind of like, you know, it was a bit mad. Let me just go. This comment from Ferv. He said that system comment for United, just in case no one caught that. I see what you did there, Rich.
No, I haven't had my say on United last night. Yeah, so
well, Paul, I'm gonna come back to you. Let's go to this comment right now. When Haaland, Mbappe, Pogba, I said it, rock out to Real Madrid next year. The Galacticos reborn. Yeah. Hey, there's a possibility that could happen, man. Like, Real Madrid didn't do much business in the summer. You know, they got rid of some players. Obviously, I feel like centre backs are going to be an issue. I mean, they've got Militao, who wasn't playing tonight, and then you've got Alaba, so that might be sorting itself out. You know, but they've been slowly rebuilding. You've seen players just being shifted out, and they slowly brought in a few acquisitions. Vinicius is obviously there, and he's now 4 seasons into his Real Madrid career now, so he's growing as a player. I know people don't like him at times, but on his day, he can do some stuff. But yeah, they could get Haaland. Haaland's release clause coming in the summer. Mbappe ain't signed that new deal, and neither has Pogba yet. So there's potential that those
like
two
two out of three could be free transfers.
It's a bit mad. It's a bit mad, and like they're looking scary again. And people have said Perez has a plan, like, and this could be his plan, like to get all three of those guys in for
And you know,
75 mil.
Because you know, obviously he's not resting until the Super League comes about. Imagine if he gets the Super League to up and running with these three in the side too.
Oh, look, touching on that Super League thing, like the problem is, big up Santiago, but they needed money for the Super League.
Listen, they probably did. Listen, Real Madrid, hey, don't be fooled. It's a corrupt institution out there, you know.
No, I know. Like, if people know if you know the inner details, like they got the King of Spain who's backing them up. You know, they've had loans. They've had loans that have been written off by the Bank of Spain. Like, if you know the stuff. Like, see, there's no way in one summer they can bring in Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema in a summer. Then the following summer go and bring in Bale without like some dodginess going on behind the scenes. Like
and just even like this summer window, they were talking about not having any money and then went to slap 180 million on Mbappe. Where did money come from?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, like what they're doing. So I mean, yeah, there's a potential that Galacticos reunion, that part 2.0, whatever you want to call it, may come into play. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I expect Real Madrid to come through that group quite comfortably, to be honest. And then, you know, getting into the latter stages of the competition, and let's see if they can try and go for another one. That would be 14 Champions Leagues, is what it is. I mean, yeah. He said the further edition of the Galacticos coming soon. Madrid haven't spent money since January 2020. Yeah, I mean, you know, that little money that they spent on Camavinga, it's money well spent, in my opinion, because he's going to be a player for them over the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah. But on that note, what aren't they like redoing the Bernabeu?
They've done it. They played their first game on Sunday there.
Okay.
So it's back. Like, I feel like they're not allowing everybody in just yet. But yeah, there were fans there, and it looks good on the outside, to be honest. 3.0, because we've had Figo Zidane era, then Ronaldo. Yeah, 3.0 right now. Yeah, that's the version we're on right now. Boy, but talking about Galacticos and moving into PSG, they drew 1-1 with Club Brugge tonight. I watched the second half of that game. Is Poch under pressure already? Boy,
yeah, he was already under pressure for not winning the league last season. Even though he came in halfway through the season, everyone said it was Poch. Poch didn't win it. So this year in the Champions League, he was under pressure anyway. Now, they're still going to get through the group. But the PSG fans they're not going to be, they won't be patient. And if he's already lost the dressing room, then that's a problem.
I mean, looking at the game today, I mean, Bruges, they could have won the game. I feel like they deserve to win it, in my opinion, because I didn't see much of a threat on goal from PSG in that second half. Bruges were literally just bullying them off the ball, just trying to set up counterattacks, literally hitting them on the break. The way PSG were playing was very, very strange. Like, it was set up for the counterattack. So they left the three up top, and literally it was just so there was a huge gap between the midfield and the rest of the players to the three forwards. So they were trying to play on the counter. And you're looking at that team and you're saying to yourself, why are they resorting to certain tactics that we expect from these kind of smaller teams? Like, what's actually going on? Like, and Mbappe went off after like 50 minutes, got an Achilles knock. So he's injured, and then you never know how that's going to look, because like certain fans would be like, well, he hasn't signed his contract, so like, what's going on? Are you trying to just leave us pretty early? You know what I mean? So that's not looking good. And I mean, to be honest, I put them as my favorites, but on that showing today, I'm like, maybe not, because like Messi don't look like he's clicked yet with his teammates. You know, I don't know how much Messi really wanted to go to PSG. I feel like he really wanted to stay at Barcelona, but you know, circumstances are, and that's what he's in. I mean, should they really be winning this Champions League with this squad? We're talking a lot about super teams all of a sudden. Like, this is a super team. Should they be going out there to win this Champions League? It's got to be theirs, right?
They should do. They've put all the pieces there. Like, they've addressed specific positions as well. Like getting Ramos in, the experience, the know-how. Donnarumma is a superb keeper, even though like Keylor Navas has been brilliant for them. And obviously Hakimi down the right-hand side. So Poch just needs to figure out what he wants to do with this team, because he's gonna have to play Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. It's what he does with the rest of them. He needs to figure that out quick, because the Champions League can be relentless. You could be in it 1 minute, out the next. You know, a click of the hat, and it's not a given for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to hit the ground running with tournament football.
Boy, we got Santiago. We'll name our league for his sister's birthday. Hey, look, that squad, the way that, like, I've seen it for several years. A lot of undermining goes on between, like, a lot of those big players and the club and the manager. Like, I've seen Zlatan, like, on some taking balls off of people on the pitch saying the penalty's mine, I don't care what you're saying. Like, I'm seeing people arguing over stuff like that. Like, people going to parties during midweeks, and it's crazy what they do at that club. But, like, to be honest, they can do that because they win the league pretty much every season. Every now and again, somebody kind of pips them to it, but they win that.
To answer Santiago's question, is water wet? He'll find some sort of injury.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I mean, 1-1 opening night. So it looks sticky for PSG. The next game obviously is against Man City, the oil derby and all of that, what they call it. So
the oil classical.
I'm definitely gonna watch that game. I might even do a watch along on the channel and see if people can come on and we can just vibe and watch the game together, because that's looking like the tie of the round for me. But I have to look at the fixtures as well, just to make sure. A couple more games before we move on. Big up Russ said I had a look at Neymar's contract details the other day. It's a mad thing. I mean, I can imagine, like, if you saw the money that his dad, who's his agent, or I don't even think it's his agent, his advisor, got in that deal, you would say,
the fact that he gets paid to, like, wave to the fans and not say anything bad about the club, it's mad.
Well, yeah, this is what Bruce said it right here. He said, for clapping the fans at the end of games and not saying anything when the manager gets 10 million. He gets the ethical contract, the ethical clause, isn't it? It's mad. Right. Atletico Madrid versus Porto. The last I saw of it was 0-0. I don't know if there was a late goal.
No, it finished 0-0.
It finished 0-0. Cool.
Yeah.
Thomas Lemar came off after 36 minutes. No injury or anything like that. He just took him off. Like Simeone, to be honest,
I rate Simeone. He don't care. Yeah, he don't care.
He's a terrorist, you know. I swear. Because to be honest with you, like with the attacking talent that they've got, like they got some ballers at Atletico Madrid. Yeah, the way they play football is so ugly. Like it's Burnley standard. Like I'm being dead serious. Like it's Burnley standard, and it's just like, boy. I mean, yeah, we'll all do that. We'll all do that. But I mean, 0-0 first Champions League game, like at home in front of the fan. I don't understand. You know how Spanish fans are impatient. Like if people remember back in the day, at the Bernabeu, if the fans weren't appreciative of things, everybody stands up with the white handkerchief and start waving it, start whistling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why aren't these fans like that? But it's just, you know, when you're the smaller club in Madrid, you're the champions, and he's won you 2 league titles. You're not going to really say much to the manager, like he brought you all of this success. So, I mean, but the football is to watch is a bit mad, like joke. It
is dire.
Free Felix, because like that kid is suffering there. Like they literally turning him into like a defensive striker. I don't know. I want to. Like I'm being. And the thing about it is, he's not even a striker. He's a 10, but he's up front on his own. Yeah, and he's making him do shuttle runs. Like you know, like you're making him do shuttle runs, bleak test. Like that's what he's making him do. And I'm like, you're killing the kid, man. And early on in his career for Felix, when I said when he joined, I was like, it would be good for him to get some like kind of structure in his game, because when he was younger, he was very instinctive rather than deliberate. And so I thought him joining Simeone was a good match in the early stages, because like he can move away from being instinctive and be more deliberate in terms of what he does on the pitch. But to be honest, like his development is being ruined because
he needs to move.
He puts him in games and he takes him out for like 5 games and he puts him back in, and then like it's a bit mad. And then you brought Griezmann back, and I don't know how that's all gonna fit.
Yeah, for his career, he needs to go. But the problem is, like, they signed him for like 100 M's. So he's gonna have to go for in and around that. Like, and who's gonna want to sign him?
I don't know. I mean, like he's saying, I mean, if City got Felix, I mean, Pep would have him ball out, which is true. He'd be a madness. He would be a proper madness. I mean, they've got Grealish now. Big up Paul. He says, let's contenders. They might come like Inter did with the meanest defense. Now they got this front line. Wouldn't sleep on them. I mean, yeah, like he's talking about that Inter team under Mourinho that won it in 2010. You know, they had a very, very like strict defense. Like they didn't concede much at all in that, and they went to the final and won it. I mean, I think they'll be in and around it. I mean, they're a very tough team to beat, but there's better out there that can really take them apart, in my opinion. Like, I mean, a few years back, you would say, yeah, they were really good, but like now, I feel like it's become very stale at Atletico Madrid. Now people know how
they play. Yeah.
So like you can pick holes in it if you need to. So
I'm gonna stick my neck out and say they don't come out of the group.
Yeah, there's potential that they might not. I think they might hit the Europa.
Yeah, I think so.
And then probably win that maybe. But
yeah,
like they did a few years back. But yeah, Russia's they're definitely ones to watch, Paul. But they're efficient, but just dead to watch. I mean, I said Burnley of Spain. That's what I believe it to be. Because what else can you say? What else can you call it? Last game, Dortmund beat Besiktas 2-1.
Listen, Jude Bellingham,
Jude Bellingham, the youngest player to score in 2 consecutive Champions League games. How good do you think he can go?
Jude Bellingham is unreal. He's already slapped a 75, 80 million pound price tag on his head. He's that good.
It's mad, the development. He's only 18 still.
Yeah.
And like he's a very brave young man to move from his surroundings, his family, to go to Dortmund. And then, you know, they've given him a chance and they said, you come into our team, you're going to be a main guy, you're going to start games, you're going to play.
And that was a factor, because obviously he was close to signing for you guys, but he didn't want to play on the bench. And I rate that. And I've always said, you know what, I think a lot more English players need to get out abroad. Because you just learn a different style of playing. You know, you learn a new system. So it's not everything like Formula One running at 100 miles per hour. You know what I mean? Try and learn to be a bit technical. And you're seeing that a lot more with the younger crop of players that are coming. There are some techie English ballers at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously the under 23s right now, England, they're all right. When you got the Gallaghers, the Gays, the Eze's, Elise's, it's just mad at the minute.
Yeah, you got Maduaku at PSV.
Yes, at PSV. Not as hard name for Palace players, by the way. But it's just crazy, and I don't know if it's if England are starting to realize, listen, we need to embed a lot more of these players in, or have they just forced their way in? Because England in itself has changed. Like, credit to Southgate, in some instances, he's trying to change the culture of football being played with the England national side. But yeah, like Jaden took the step out, Reece Nelson took the step out. Noni, as you said, is taking a step out. Go abroad, learn your. Jude's done it now. I think more young English players should just fly out.
I mean, yeah, it's good. I mean, like, because like just speaking on that, like I feel like there was a stigma against it, like a while ago. Like, you know, there was a lot of like English players who were kind of done in the Prem towards the end of their career, and they were reluctant to go abroad for whatever reason. They just didn't want to go and adapt to something new, and you'd see them just kind of fizzle out at their clubs, maybe go to like a lower level club. But these kids, like these young kids, they're saying, you know what, I'm just going to go play where I'm going to be appreciated, where I'm going to learn something new, I get to experience a different culture, and it's good to see. And yeah, just big up Brush for this comment, so I can see us going back in for Jude in the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah, you can see it like already. Like I've already said, like they've already kind of earmarked him as a signing, because potentially if Pogba leaves, that's the next player you go for. I think. I don't know if that's going to happen this summer, because if you get rid of Haaland, they really kind of just let one go every summer, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think he stays for another year, and then the following season he's going to be off. But yeah, man, like his ceiling is very high, and I feel like I was caught in two minds, like for the England national team. I think he was good enough to start in that midfield.
You should have, yeah.
In the Euros. He should have, but people were saying that no, he shouldn't have done it. You know, he should be playing under 21s, and it's just like when you look at that midfield, they needed somebody like that, you know, to kind of do some stuff. So, I mean, it's a bit mad. Now, let's speak on Haaland before we wrap it up. Haaland, 21 goals in 17 Champions League games. Like, you know what's mad? Yeah, he's already scored more goals than about 50 players in the Champions League. And he's how old is he? He's 20, I think he is, or is he 21?
21.
It's mad. He scored more goals than Etu in the Champions League. Like,
the guy was he was made in a lab. I'm convinced.
He is a robot, though.
Yeah, even his interviews. Yeah,
he's a cyborg.
He's unreal. Like, he missed a kind of a sitter before he actually finished his initial shots, and I was like, oh wow, he is actually human. But and you know how like last season, like, and the season before, Jaden and Haaland formed like a little partnership. It was them two. You can see that with now it's Jude and Haaland.
Yeah.
Them two are them bits, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect Dortmund to do much in this Champions League. I mean, they got to the semi-final last season. I think it's kind of it was a bit of a hangover season, to be honest. Like from the COVID year, it just kind of like filtered into last season. I think for some teams, I don't expect them. I think they could get to a quarterfinal potentially. They've got a good young team, and the way they keep churning out these young players and building them up and then pushing them out to other clubs, it's good to see. They get the win tonight against Besiktas in front of that hostile crowd. Bellingham a lot of confidence to go up to the crowd.
His celebration was
shush them, stand in front of them, like, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Big up, Brush. He says he's a real life even brother. Like, yeah, it's true. Hey, I mean, that's it for the show right now. I want to thank everybody who's in the comments. I want to big up Rich for joining me on the stream.
No problem.
Big up your channel, shout yourself out, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, Eagle-eyed Football on YouTube. Also, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, just predominantly Crystal Palace content, but then I do speak to fans of other clubs and just continuing to build a community and such, as long as the girls allow me to do what I'm supposed to do and not stay up.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're doing a lot, and it's good to see as well, man. Thank you for coming on the channel. I appreciate it still.
No problem.
But yeah, man, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday on a Champions League week. So the next one will be in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to be trying to get fans of different clubs to come onto the panel so that we can kind of just chat through the results, so we can get a bit more perspective from these fans and all of that. Let me just go through these comments before we wrap up anyway. Paul says, I'm hoping to see Hudson-Odoi go to Dortmund. Me too. I hope he does go there because it's going to help him a lot in his development, but we'll see what happens. Big up United Fan TV. Brad, what's he saying? Hey, let's calm down, bro. There's no Chino settings here. He said, shout out Daddy Rich. Hey, people, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I want to thank everybody that was in the comments. We are wrapping up right now. Big up to everybody once again. We are out. Peace.